Richard, thanks so much for your time today. We're here at a
Pleasure.
very exciting time for you. Holiday Inn Express finally making it to Australia. Now, your brand traction globally with this brand has been significant, particularly since the relaunch of Holiday Inn back in 2007.
Yep. Yeah, we've got, 2,200 Holiday Inn Expresses around the world, 600 in the pipeline. And Australia's an important market. It's now our fourth brand in the market. And, our business model, we don't own the hotels ourselves. We only own 7 of the 5,000 in the system. So getting the right partner, getting the right location, and having it all come together is what took the time. And with ProInvest here, they are great partners. We've got a 15 hotel commitment with them, and it's exciting to finally be in the Australian market.
Just saying before off camera, growing organically very well. There's a lot of M&A going on around the world, and you just keep plugging on. You've got a great pipeline and doing it your way.
Yeah. I think more than plugging on, I like to think. But yeah, we've got over 1,200 hotels in the pipeline, and in our part, we acquired Kimpton Hotels and Restaurants at the beginning of last year. That's been a great addition to our portfolio. But size for the sake of size doesn't interest us. Having the right brands in the right markets to look after our guests and drive returns for our owners is what matters. And organic growth has been very, very strong for us, as you say.
And how do you see what's going on globally? Starwood, Marriott, it's changing every couple of days. It's actually hard to report on it because it's back and forth like a tennis match.
Yeah, I think clearly we see what's going on. I think ultimately there are some benefits and consolidation for some players, but it's not necessary. Scale matters in this industry, and we have scale. We've got 5% of the world's rooms, about 15% of the global pipeline, and billions of dollars that we can spend on marketing, on technology. So we're very comfortable with our position, and we'll keep an eye on what happens elsewhere, but it's not a key driver for us at all.
And a lot of talk about Kimpton recently. How do you see the growth of that brand? How do you see it in Asia Pacific? Do you see, there's obviously a lot of boutique hotels coming on at the moment, and obviously it's got the strength of IHG behind it.
Yeah. Well, with Hotel Indigo, we have a fantastic boutique brand with a sort of upscale price point, and we added Kimpton Hotels and Restaurants, as I said, we acquired it last year. And the boutique sector is one of the fastest growing in the industry globally. And with Hotel Indigo and Kimpton, we now have the largest boutique business. So I see tons of opportunity in Asia, in Australia particularly. We just announced a few weeks ago the first Kimpton outside the US. We signed a deal in Amsterdam. We've got several others in Europe, and I'm pushing the team here because we see a lot of opportunity, and it's a unique brand, Kimpton, with the heritage that it has, the restaurant expertise, so tons of opportunity.
And a lot of the markets globally are performing well. How do you see the global market at the moment?
We're an industry that's always had ups and downs. You get some economies doing better, some doing worse. For us, we've seen very consistent growth around the world, actually. And in 2015, we announced revenue growth of between 8 and 9% in most markets. Now, some like China, it's adding a lot of new hotels. In the US, it's actually better performance in the existing hotels. So there's different dynamics, but people need to travel for business, for leisure. Hotel revenues grow ahead of GDP. So in a world where GDP is growing, maybe not as fast as it was, there's real opportunities for hospitality, and we're seeing, say, very significant growth.
Let's talk about leadership. You're here for the GM's meeting for the region, and particularly with Aussies. Jolly and Bully obviously doing very well in the States. Karen Shepherd down here. Keith Barr is pretty much an Aussie for the amount of time he spent over here, and even your predecessor with Andy was in Australia for a long time. So very Australian flavour globally with IHG.
You know our business well, actually. Yeah, no, I think Australia it's a great market. It's competitive, and in fact, it's one of the markets in the world where the global brands have a smaller position than they do in many others. So it's a great training ground, and we've seen that. As you mentioned, many of our senior leadership came from Australia. So it's a market we're close to. We've been in here since the 60s. And I think there's a great heritage. And I'm actually myself, I'm 1/4 Australian. My grandfather was born in Adelaide, moved to the UK, where he met my grandmother. So I think it's an important part of our group.
And talk about the culture at IHG at the moment. Obviously, you have so many hotels in the pipeline, and is it a challenge for you to find the staff to be able to staff these, especially in countries like China, where your growth is really significant?
Yeah, it is actually. And if you think about the thing that we worry about the most is actually getting the right quality people who have the right attitude, the right values to deliver against our brands. And so recruitment is important, training is important, and we have an initiative, part of our responsible business initiative, with something called the IHG IHG Academy, where we partner with local education establishments to train people, and we have over 1,000 of them globally now. So it's one of our real important contributions to communities, but it enables us to train people who work the IHG way and understand our brands. And a brand like this, the New Holiday Inn Express, requires the right approach, and young dynamic people are very important to us.
I mean, some would say if you look at all the hotel chains globally, you're the expert in corporate travellers. What are you doing to kind of appease that? You're doing new rooms at Crown Plazas for business, primarily around business travellers. You really know that market well, don't you?
Yeah, we do. About 60% of our business is business travel, but 40% is leisure, and you have to be an expert at both. So I think the important thing for us is understanding the guest properly. I do think our industry has been a little slow in understanding guests. We talk brand, but we tend to talk physical product. We talk price point, economy, mid-scale, upscale. Those are not meaningful distinctions to consumers. So we've done a lot of work on really understanding consumer, their need, their occasion, who they are, and we build our business around that. So Kimpton Restaurant, Hotel and Restaurant, was filling a gap. The development we've done at Express here with this fantastic social space is all about how people behave. So that's how you win, whether it's business travel or leisure travel, is really understanding the guest.
And do you think because of your strength in countries like China, when the Chinese go to invest globally, we're seeing that now with IHG properties in California, in Australia, and around the world, do you think that's coming from that track record in those markets?
It is. Look, the relationships you have with owners are absolutely crucial. And one of the key pieces of our winning strategy is driving returns for owners. And so once they trust you, they'll work with you elsewhere. So you mentioned California. We've announced and under construction Hotel Indigo on the west coast of California. In fact, my European developers just were in China with my Chinese developers talking to a Chinese owner who we haven't worked with, but who likes us, about an intercontinental in Europe. And it's that connectivity that's so important, and being able to really drive returns for owners through having brands that deliver on the ground.
And you've worked your way through the hotel chain very successfully. What tips have you got for some of the younger hoteliers out there to want to succeed in this industry and not go to industries like retail?
Yeah, look, I think it is a great business, I find. Yeah. Powerful brands, connection with the customer. It's an on-the-ground business, so you're out of the corporate offices, you're in the hotels. I think you've got to love this business. It's hard work. You've got to actually like people. You've got to have, you want to give great service, create great experiences, and if that's what you're about, it's a great place to work. Lots of growth opportunities, lots to do.